Okay, good morning. If you can hear me, could you please put a yes in the chat? We're going to go ahead and get started in a couple minutes. Okay, good. I always want to make sure you can hear me. Sometimes it's hard to tell. So thank you. I think those of you that are here, it looks like I've probably been here before, but I'm going to go ahead and go through a few house rules just in case you haven't been here. If you haven't, welcome, and we'll go ahead and get started. I'd ask that you mute your microphone. That just helps so we don't have too much feedback. And maybe in the future webinars, once we all get really used to Zoom, we can use that when it comes to question time. Please do not use video. Again, that's just a bit distracting, and I think it jumps from person to person if somebody forgets to mute their microphone. So for now, we'll go ahead and not use the video. Please ask questions in the chat box. The chat box is available for you to ask questions anytime during the webinar. And we do have developers on standby that can also help answer those questions as I'm speaking. So if you think of something, please go ahead and ask those questions. The first 20 minutes will be a presentation. So this is going to just be me giving a tip or trick for the month. And once that's concluded, then I will jump into answering questions that you might have in regards to what we talked about today, and then also what you have in general in regards to your own websites or questions that you might have about the luggage platform. So again, if you have questions because you're an editor and you're just learning how to do something or forgot how to do something that may not relate to today, that's fine. We're more than happy to help answer those. Please know that other editors will also be able to gain from your questions. So asking questions is very good in this environment, and we encourage you to do that. And then last but not least, be respectful of others, and I think we all do that just fine. So I'm going to go ahead and move to the next slide. And what we have, what we usually do at the beginning is I just walk through some online resources for you. This will help you as you learn luggage and a little bit about the team to know where you can find those online resources. So Biology Information Technology is our particular team, and you can find our website at biology-it.iastate.edu. And you can also find it in the chat. So these links are going to be put in the chat today. So if you'd like to check them out, please go for it. We also have a luggage showcase, and this page basically lists the websites that we've developed in our team. It also lists websites where those using luggage on campus have, might have, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought, where others on campus have also created websites in the luggage platform, and we've also displayed those here in the showcase. We do have luggage feature examples, and this can be very helpful, especially if you're starting out with luggage. Maybe someone came to you and asked if, it was possible to blog on your website. And this is a place where you can go and see the different features that Biology IT has created for luggage, and you can see that blog is one of them. If you see a feature here, you chances are already have the code on your site, and we can just turn it on for you. And I'd be happy to train you on that particular feature if you're ready. It's also a nice place to see what others are doing. So if you're struggling maybe about how to make really good announcements, or what's a website that has a lot of events on it, what type of events are they putting on their website, this page will show you examples, good examples of the features. And if you feel that you're particularly doing very well in a feature and we haven't listed you on this website, please let me know that too, because we have lots of websites, and sometimes I miss some of those star sites from being put on this page, and we definitely want to promote you wherever we can. So if you're one of those, just let me know. Digital Access is Zaira Jordan's website. She's the Web Accessibility Coordinator for the university. We've been working closely with Zaira on making the platform theme web accessible, and you can learn more about what accessibility means on this website, and there are upcoming events all the time. So if you're interested in accessibility, I just saw that the Bren Center, I believe, is putting on some workshop training, and so you might want to participate in those. They're very good workshops, so if you're interested, please do that. Okay, now it's the main event. We are going to talk about teasers today, and what teasers are in Luggage is summaries. So I'm going to explain a little bit about how to create a good teaser and what that means, and go through some of the steps in doing so. First, we're going to talk about what it is. What's a teaser or summary? Then we'll jump into why you need to use it, where it appears, and also what makes it great. So how to make your summaries kind of stand out. Then we will also, as always, I'll walk through creating one. So you'll actually be able to see how to do that. I'm going to go ahead and escape out of here, and I am going to share a different screen. I want to share this one. Here we go. Okay, so right now you should be seeing the Iowa Monarch Consortium website, and this is what we're going to use for our examples today. Okay, good. This website is actually locally for me. So this is on, what that means is it's on my own machine. So it is not public, it is not shared with anyone, but it's basically a copy of this website so that I can demonstrate for you. So don't be alarmed that you see lorem ipsum here. This is not live. This is just on my own machine. So what we're going to do first is talk a little bit about what is a teaser or summary. So when we say teaser or summary, what that is referring to is the small amount of text surrounding a piece of content on the website. And that can appear in a couple different forms. One, it may appear under recent views. So here you can see that there's multiple news items, and there's a small amount of content about that main item. When you click on the item itself, then you will see the full content for that article, for example. Another place that it shows up is under a search. So I'm just going to search for milkweed, monarch. When I do that, what's going to happen is I'm going to get a search result. And in the search result, there's going to be a small amount of content, which are the teasers or summaries, that describe what the main content is about. And in this case, I can see that on the left, I can filter by news. So I'm going to go ahead and filter by news. What's going to happen is that now I will see only the news items that reference my search that appear. And the teasers or summaries appear with those news items. And again, when I click on the title, I'm able to see the full news article there. So that kind of gets us into why do you need to use a summary. Really what the summary does is it helps encourage end users to click on your content. So when they see a summary that's of interest to them and not overwhelming, we don't need an overwhelming amount of text. We know that people skim websites very quickly. So if you have a small amount of text that can engage them or encourage them to click on your content, that's what it's for. You can also add images to your news items to help encourage people. We know that people are essentially attracted to people. So people are attracted to people images, and you can see that the Monarch Consortium has images of people on their website quite a bit. So having these really neat, interesting photos help drive people to click on the content. Another thing that it does is it helps clean up the search results, for example. So when I did a search and whittled down to news specifically, I was able to see that the summaries or the teasers were very succinct and descriptive, and that's exactly what the end user will want. And we also could see that there was an image, a small image placed, so that there's a lot of consistency with those. I believe I've already explained a little bit about where your summary appears. So again, it's going to appear in potentially, a block on your homepage. Most likely that's what will happen for news. And that same teaser or summary will also appear in a search result. To go over what makes a great summary, I think I explained that too, but just to reiterate, really is succinct and unique information in your summary. So if you can use terms or terminology that is specific to your main content and unique, so that if someone did a result, they'd probably find it. So title, unique content will help drive end users to your web pages. Another thing is making sure that you maybe take advantage of having the small image. I will demonstrate how you can actually add an image to the teaser and make it a little smaller so that it's not too large on the home page, for example, but you'll be able to see it. Oh, you're kidding. Okay, we're going to take a break a minute. It looks like we have a couple people that have microphones that are not muted, and I'm hearing that it's hard to, I'm seeing it's hard to hear. I'm sorry. I didn't see those comments. Oh no. All right. So if you could please go ahead and mute, make sure that your microphones are muted. That would be very helpful. I think there might be a couple people that did not have them muted. And if someone can tell me if it's better, or if we can find out who might need some help, we can definitely help you learn how to mute your microphone. In Zoom, there's a little bar that shows up, and you have a little microphone mute icon that you can see. And I don't know, since I'm in Zoom, if I can actually share it. So can anyone tell me if it's better? Maybe Jackie, is it any better, or are we still having the same problem? Okay. Sounds good now. Okay. We're going to just go with that. Thank you. See, it's a really good thing I have developers that can pop in the office from next door and tell me when I'm not actually seeing my chat here. So sorry about that, guys. So to wrap up with the main description of summaries, we talked about what makes a great summary, where it appears, that it will show up on the homepage or in a search result. We talked about making them done well by having them succinct and unique information. We also talked about potentially adding an image to encourage others to click on, or end users to click on that content. All right, so how do you do this? I created an example news item, and we're going to recreate that in this demonstration, or something very similar. I called it lorem ipsum, so it's just fake content. But when we click on it, you can see that there's full content and an image. When you select the Edit tab, this is on my local machine, so it's just on my computer, so it might take a moment to load. Here is the teaser or the summary, and you can see that there's a summary above the field for summary. You can use the terms summary and teaser interchangeably for luggage. So when you hear someone say teaser or summary, they're referring to the same thing for this platform. If you scroll down a bit, you can see there's a body field. And so the body field is different than the summary field. And I'll show you how to get that summary field in a minute. So I think this will help explain a little bit about what we're doing. So let's go ahead and create a new piece of content. I'm going to go up to Content and select Add Content. And then from here, we'll do a news item today, but if you are going to edit a summary for a page, that would be done the same way. So you can follow the same steps we're going to do for a news item on a page, because a page will show up in a search result as well. So I'll select news. When I select news, you can see some common fields that you're most likely used to. I'm going to just call this example news item and select a category, and I will make a tag. The next field is the body field. In the body field, you can see the title body, but next to it is Edit Summary. When I click on Edit Summary, that's where the summary field appears. So why doesn't the summary field just automatically appear? Well, what happens is that when you add content into the body field, if there's no content in the summary field, we're going to automatically use the first 600 characters of the body field. So you always will have a teaser or summary. It's just a matter of whether or not you choose to control what that summary or teaser is. And I would recommend, especially for news, that you do control what that summary is. Because sometimes you might have a large image, or text might break a little bit funny depending on where that 600 character limit ends. Because when I say 600 characters, that's going to also include spaces, images, and that sort of thing. So it may be difficult to tell exactly where the break is going to be. So that's why it doesn't automatically appear, because you don't need it, but I'd recommend that you use it. So let's add our main body content. I'm going to go ahead and add a couple paragraphs here. Got some body content. Now, sometimes what people will do, and if you're in a hurry and to save time, this is completely fine, especially if you've written the article in such a way that the first 2 or 3 sentences explains what your main content is about. If that's the case, go ahead and use that. And you can just copy the first couple sentences here and paste them in the summary. What I would recommend is, if you have time and if you can, that you actually write a summary that's different than the exact copy that you have in your body. I think sometimes you can go a little bit more unique and deeper and explain a bit more in a description of the main content if you actually just write a couple sentences for that. But again, it's completely up to you. If you want to use the first 2 sentences, go for it. That will be fine. So what I'm going to do is pretend that I wrote a little description and copy a couple things here and put in a summary. So now I have a summary. So at this point, we're looking pretty good. If this content showed up on a search result, the end user is going to see this summary text. And when they click on the title, they're going to see this full body text. So we're good. Now, how do you add images? I'll go ahead and add a couple images so that you can see how that's done. Sometimes it's nice to have a refresher if you haven't added an image in a while. So I selected choose file. I'm going to find an image. Yeah, this one. And upload. So when I upload the image, you will actually see a little screenshot or small version of that image. And you can put some alt text here. In the alt text, I will put student at computer. You don't need to put photo of or image of student at computer because the screen readers will already say image, so you don't need to do that. You will also see an insert button. So now I can put my cursor up to the left of the L in lorem ipsum is where I'm putting it, and insert the image. Once I insert the image, it's very large, and I don't want an image that big for my teaser. So you can double click on the image, make it, we'll say, probably even smaller. I'll just do 100 pixels. Make sure the lock is locked so that your image is resized proportionally. I'm going to make the H space 10. What that does is put a little space on the left and right of the photo, and I will align the photo to the left and say OK. Now my photo is going to show to the left of the text for my teaser. Next, I'm going to add an image to the body. So I'll go down here, select choose file under add new image, find one that I'd like to use, and upload it. Make sure you select upload. Your image will appear. I'm going to say students meeting about a project, and then insert that. So it's fairly large. I'm going to make it just a little smaller. Add some horizontal space and align this one to the right. Now I have a nice image in my main body. I'll scroll to the bottom and select save. So now I'm brought to the full content version of my news article. And when I go to the home page, this news item appears on the home page. You can see our example news item with a nice picture and some text. And you can see that it mimics basically what I told you I was going to copy. So when you click on the title, it takes you to the full news article. And that's how you edit a teaser and add one to any content that you have. And again, you can do this on a page just as easily as a news item. So if I went to content, add content page, next to the body field, I will see edit summary. I can select it and do the same thing on a page. Okay, so there's, let's see. So if you, I have a question here about mobile devices. So on a luggage website, for example, the image will show on mobile. So you will see the image, and this is basically me kind of shrinking the website down so that you can see what it might look like or close to what it would look like on a mobile device. So it will appear. The alternate text is for people who use screen readers, for example, who have low vision and aren't able to see images. Sometimes people surf online without images because they don't want the page load time. So they'll see the text instead of the image, and it helps with accessibility, really is what it does. So Google can read it, and people with those devices can also read it. And I had a question about if this meeting is recorded, and it is recorded, and I go through and do some minor editing kind of to the beginning and the end of these sessions, and then we'll show these online. You can find our webinars online in our Luggage Docs website. And if I go to events and select archive, you can see the recent events. So for example, announcement scheduling was our last one, and you can see the recording here. So you'll be able to play the recording back and listen to it. I go ahead and add this to the end of the actual event on the website. So that's where you'll find them. You will also see that you can download a transcript, and the transcript is really my notes or bullet points for the meeting of the day, and explains basically what we're talking about. So you can use that, and then all of them will have closed captioning as well. Okay, are there any questions about anything that you're wondering about or you have questions about? And it can be about teasers or anything in general. So I'm finished presenting, and feel free to ask us questions. I think last time somebody told me, "Ann, I was typing and then you closed the meeting." So I'm gonna wait a couple minutes and see if anybody has any questions for us. Again, don't be shy to ask questions. This is a very open kind of office hours, so to speak, and we're happy to help you answer any questions that you have. And you can also see in the chat that there are links for how to create a page or create a news item, so that you can see all of our online tutorials and view those if you need to or would like to. Okay. I think I'm going to go ahead and start shutting down. But please remember that we on the BIT team are more than happy to help you with any questions you have about luggage. As you can see, I have an open table behind me. I'm always welcome to visitors. I welcome visitors, and I can also come to you. So if you'd like me to come to your office to help you with something, and that's just easier. I know sometimes content editors are front people and need to be in their offices to help address those that might come in, and I'm more than happy to come to you. So please, again, send me an email or call if you have any questions with editing, and we will see you next month, hopefully. So thanks for joining us today, and have a good rest of the week. Thank you.